نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. There are several different denominations among Shias. If you categorize them, at least there are 3 or 4 different levels. There are certain people from among Shia who have rejected some of the essential creedal points. They do not consider Quran to be completed. They think that there's certain passages of Quran are being missed, and they are with the Imam who is in Ghaibuba, means that he is in hiding. Some of them believe that the actual status of Sayyidina Ali is above all the other prophets. Certain of them believe that these Imams of Shia, the 12 or more from different denominations, they are innocent in such a way that they're infallible like prophets, and they get revelation as the prophets do. So there are different aqaid that they hold. There are certain people who believe that the prophethood, the final prophethood, was the entitlement of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And Jibreel Amin alayhi salam has messed it, and he betrayed this. Na'udhu billah. Na'udhu billahi min dhalik. Obviously, anyone who believes that, and there were certain people who actually believe Sayyidina Ali to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala incarnation, na'udhu billah, and obviously that's all kufr. So these essential creedal point rejection by anyone, be they call them Shia or someone else, something else, they are not within the fold of Islam. The essential points should be very clear to all believers. They are essentials, they are obligatory. Now there are certain points of Aqidah which are a distinction or distinctive points between Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the true path, and there are many deviated paths as well. So those who claim that majority of Sahaba, na'udhu billah, after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, apostatized and left Islam. Obviously, they do not acknowledge the status of Sahaba at all, other than few handful that they would be happy with. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, on the other hand, consider several reports of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, more than 100 ayat of Quran referring directly to Sahaba about their status, categorically mention that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with them, radiyallahu anhu wa radu an, and they just make it the default position that all Sahaba are adul as per the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's a distinction. So there's certain, these people are deviant, and they are not part of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, which is the saved sect, as per the saying of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was asked about 73 sects. So he said the previous nation, like Jewish people, were divided into 71, the Christians into 72, and my nation will be divided into 73. Everyone except one will be in hellfire. Means they would have to go to hellfire because of the defect in their aqidah, the corruption in their aqidah. They would go to hellfire and then come out of that after fulfilling their sentence, their punishment, and they would come back to Jannah. But they cannot go to Jannah directly with that bad aqidah that they have. There was a lot of deviation. So ma ana alayhi wa ashabi, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, those who are upon my path and the path of my companions. So when we followed this, that we took that name, Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Sunnah being the path of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Jama'ah is the Jama'ah of Sahaba, their collective, decisions about things and their collective path that they've trodden over. So there are certain people who do not consider Sahaba to be apostatized or have left Islam the religion. Rather, they just say they're all Muslim, but we honor Sayyidina Ali over and above the Khulafa Rashideen, Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali, without disrespecting them. We honor them as well, but we honor Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu above those Sahaba, above those Khulafa, Umar, Uthman and Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala alayhim ajma'in. So these are not deviant in that sense, but they have erred in their understanding. They have got issues, but not a major issue. If they have done it for a some misunderstanding, inshallah ta'ala, they will be forgiven for their mistake. But if they have any cunning ideas, then obviously Allah knows. So generally they are okay, they're like fine people, but they have got they need to be corrected for their little misunderstanding. But there's a consensus that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq is the top, Sayyidina Umar, and then Sayyidina Ali is after Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu ta'ala, in that order. So we accept that as a standard, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned them in that order in several ahadith, and Ummah agreed on this. Now the fourth or the final category of Shia, broadly speaking, are the people who only consider Sayyidina Ali to be above Sayyidina Uthman, and that even some of the Ahl Sunnah would hold, and there's no problem with that, except that that's your personal choice. Anyway, so so you would need to know what was the status of this person, and obviously it is not easy to find out, especially when we know that Shias have this doctrine where you have to hide, and it's considered a good thing to hide and show something else. Taqiyya, they call it. So that's why you perhaps would not be able to identify truly. But what you need to know is outwardly, were they from the first two categories or second and third category? If they're from the first two categories, don't lead them or pray behind them, and don't join any funeral for them, because they have erred big time. In the first case, they have left Islam. In the second, they have left Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah path, and there's very little you could do to help them. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would judge them and do whatever is appropriate. So there's no point making dua for them. In the third and fourth category, they are good. They are okay, and they are like us. So Zaydis, for example, are like that. Tafdili Shias. You can just make dua for them, and there's no harm in attending their funeral. So you do not hold grudge against Sahaba, against the pious people of the past. So inshallah ta'ala, that they are part of us, Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So if the Imam led the Janazah of that person, so more likely that the Imam knew, or at least had the responsibility to identify and verify whether he could lead. So if he led that Janazah, then alhamdulillah, you are absolved. You don't need to do any investigation. You just follow that. If you trust that Imam, then Allah make it easy, inshallah. And whatever happened has happened. Don't worry about it anymore.